It's night time, so we better have a. Well, it's night time in a lot of the world, but not here. So we better have a ghost story, right? What other time to have a ghost story when you're about to go to bed and then you can't sleep, right? So this is a true ghost story. I lived in the city of Cairns for 5 years, and I lived on the side that I was still married then, and um, I worked in a company in Cairns as a pest control worker. I got paid very good money, like great money. I moved interstate for double the wages, right? That's what I got. I used to take home $1,400 a week back in 2008. It was just, I worked very, very hard. There were very trying conditions. I would leave home at 4 o'clock at morning and on a Friday, say, and get home at 8 o'clock at night, because I drove a lot. I was always driving all over the place. So, because I had some good money, after I settled in, I was in a flat. I found this great big mansion to rent on the side of the mountain. My son wanted to save up and buy a flat, so I said, well, look, you move in here, you just pay quarter of the rent, and then you can put the rest of the money in your bank. And you can stay downstairs. He was actually an apprentice chef at the time. And I said, you got the downstairs of the house, because it was a big mansion, and, you can stay in the bedroom down there. And that. So he'd been in there a little while. And one morning he said, Dad, there's something strange up here. And it was around the kitchen area. Now, this house actually had a suspended concrete floor. There was no pipes or anything running through that. It was just a piece of concrete between top and bottom floor. It wasn't wood or anything. And you could actually feel this warm patch. Right? You could run your hand around it. Other people looked at this. It was there every morning. And it was just like a dog had been laying there. Right? That's what I thought. And that's what my son thought. I thought, wow, there's a dog been laying there. And anyway, a few nights later, Seb, or Sebastian's his real name, he likes to be called Seb. Seb come to me and said, hey, Dad, I want to swap rooms. And I remember saying, what? So you can trash that other room? You haven't even, this one's a mess, you know what they're like when they're young. And he said, no, there's a ghost in here. I said, oh, how do you know that? He says, I can feel it at night. I said, well, okay, because I've been able to see things for most of my life. I said, okay, that's fine, you move rooms. And a couple of nights later, I'd come home and I'd walked in the house. And as I walked in, I just felt the whole spirit walk through me. It's like a feeling of charged electricity. It just went right through my body, and it's you feel like it's trying to suck your soul out, right? So I knew what it was immediately. And I said, hello. I said, I don't like you walking through me. You should have some manners. That's being very rude. But maybe I walked into you, so I don't really know what's going on. So I knew the spirit was real. The whole time I lived there, that warm patch was on the floor for the whole 5 years, right? And anyway, I was leaving the house one day, and there was a big, like an old-fashioned banister staircase. It was modern, one of those big staircases that go up, a landing, and then go back. They wrap right around. Because this was a mansion. No joke, it was it looked like a millionaire's mansion. Right? It was all white marble and that. Fantastic house. I was at the door, and I looked to the left, and I saw a man. He walked down the steps. Now, I can describe him as mid-30s, green jumper, white, like a business shirt tucked over the jumper, brown slacks. I saw him as clear as day. And I saw him walk down the steps, and he walked into the room, which was my library. All right? And I thought, who in the blazes is in this house? I said, hey, mate, what are you doing in here? Because I thought someone was in the house, but they'd come from upstairs. Because the upstairs actually, the house was on the side of a hill, so the upstairs actually could get to ground level as well. And went over there and looked in there, and there was nothing there. Nothing there. So I set some boundaries, and I said, you're to leave my son alone. You're to not walk through anyone. You're welcome here. It's your house. I won't be here forever. I know that. It's your property. You're probably something to do with the original. I understand that. and your dog is fine to sleep in the kitchen. So the end of the story, I could never get my dog to sit on that spot. The little dog I had at the time, she was a little part poodle. She'd never ever sit there. Never sit at that spot. And every morning she would go in there and she'd sniff around it. So I hope you enjoyed that ghost story.